Committee on Ways and Means. Order. Representative Bobby Rush, Committee on Energy. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, Security. Representative Barbara Lee, Appropriations. Representative Yvette Clark, Energy and Commerce. Representative Hank Johnson, Judiciary. Representative Marcia Fudge, Agriculture. Representative Bass Karen, Foreign Affairs. Representative Sewell, Ways and Means, Intelligence.
I don't have the parliamentary prayer. KST student parliament. I think we'll have to do some induction for the records. Let me stop the video camera.
Representative.
There will be no noise in the recording. Presentation is over. Very good. Right, honorable speakers. I think it is time for us to start today's meeting. It's a very short one, and then I wouldn't like us to keep so long. So we'll start, as we are all speakers, to be right for us to start with the speaker's prayer. However, I want to put it on record that I don't have the speaker's prayer in front of me, so I'm going to recite from my head the actual prayer that is being prayed at the Parliament of Ghana. Right, honorable speakers, opening prayers. Let us pray. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor on this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, and endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of this house, this land and people may be well and truly served, and thy good purposes for the common human life realized in our midst. Amen. Right, honorable speakers, it is the first half that I can fully remember. I think you should give me a here for that. How many of you can remember that? Right, honorable speakers, let us proceed with the program. I think it is incumbent on us to create that rapport, and in order to best create it for the records, it is best that you all introduce yourself so that we will know who and who is in our midst. So you state your name, your portfolio, and then we'll go to the next person. So let's start from Lord Bali. Loud Bali. Kindly, yes, exactly. Please proceed.
Yeah. Right honorable members. Hello.
Yes, we can all hear you. Kindly proceed.
Yeah. Good evening, right honorable speakers. In the person of Ban Achanfo Lord Ebenezer, University of Energy and Natural Resources Speaker of Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Let's proceed to Priscilla Adai. The Right
Hello, good
Honorable Priscilla
evening.
Adai. Good evening.
I'm currently at a place where I can put my video on, but I am Priscilla Free, speaker for University of Health and Allied Sciences, SRC Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable. Let's have the Right Honorable Solomon Sunday.
Okay, all right. So good evening, speakers. Unfortunately, I'm currently in another meeting, so I may not be able to on my video. But I am Solomon Sunday Awa, Speaker of the 10th Parliament of the UPSA Students' House. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. At this moment, these are the only Right Honorables that have joined us in a group of over 40 speakers, both formal and incumbent. So I'll humbly proceed. Whoever joins us at any moment will be given the opportunity to introduce him or herself, and then we'll proceed with the presentation. Right, honorable speakers. Okay, I think we just have here one member joining us. The Right Honorable Innocent Seth Jr. Kindly introduce yourself for the House.
Thank you, Right Honorable. I'm the person of Technical University.
I think your line got broken at a point, so kindly reintroduce yourself.
All right, thank you. I'm the person of Seth Ejay Jr., the speaker for Kumasi Technical University. Should I say outgone or current? Because currently we don't have a speaker due to a few issues with regards to our elections.
But you have not handed over yet.
Yes, please. So I'm still the speaker.
You are still the speaker.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Great. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Right, honorable members. This meeting is an initiative to better interact with our members. This association or this group is basically aimed at giving exposure to our members at zero cost, because as a matter of fact, we are looking at promoting standard student legislative practices. And in doing so, luckily, technology has come in to just aid us. All we need from you is just your availability and activism. And I myself have been around since day one, and then we just share the knowledge. Knowledge is priceless. It's in book. If you want to hide knowledge from black men, you put it in book. However, we are extracting it, and then instead of you reading, instead of you reading, would tell you and then show you by practicalism and illustration. So today's meeting is just basically to go through what we have been teaching and then now take questions and answers. Honorable members, kindly hold on for me a second. Let me attend to this message. Okay. Thank you again. Now let's proceed to deal with the basic stuff that we expect that each speaker should do and each house should have. As you know, the student parliamentary practice emanated from the national parliamentary parties. As compared to other countries that they have a federal system, that their administrative regions also have their respective state parliaments. In Ghana, it is a unitary system, and in unitarism, it is only a central government. In Ghana, we only have a central government. However, the executive arm has been decentralized. In the federal system, all the other arms have also been decentralized. Taking, for example, in Nigeria, they have a decentralized governing system called a federation. So they have a federal president with a federal vice president, a federal bicameral legislature, and a federal court, which is the highest court. And then at each of the states, each state has an elected governor who does not necessarily have to come from the party of the federal president. They have also a state house, like a state parliament. It's usually called the House of Assembly. That is what their constitution stipulates, that it has to be called the House of Assembly. And then they also have a state court to handle issues around the state. Likewise, in Kenya, they have a federal president. They don't actually make it, they don't really use the term federal, but they just have a president and then a vice president who is at the national. And they have a parliament, which is also bicameral. The upper house being the Senate and the lower house being National Assembly. For the Nigerian one, the upper house is Senate and the lower house is House of Representatives. So in Kenya, they also have a national court. Now, instead of, you see, in Ghana, we call our breakdown administrative territories regions. In Nigeria, they are called states. In Kenya, they are called counties. Country, and then you move the R close to the Y, counties. So they also have counties. So within the county administration, they have a county governor. Then they have a county assembly. The county legislature is called county assembly. So if the county's name is Mali, they have a county governor, county executive council, county assembly, and then a county court. So that is how they manage their system. And likewise, if you go to the United States, as you know, they have the president of US, the vice president, then they have their Congress, which is also into two chambers, the Senate and then the House of Representatives. And then they have a Chief Justice to head their national court. They also have states, 50 states. And then each of the states, actually over there, the state legislatures are also bicameral. They also have Senate. Some of them, they call their upper house Senate. Some of them call their lower house. They call it, sometimes they call it General Assembly. Sometimes they call it State House of Representatives. The name differs a little bit. When I investigated, that was what I saw. And then they also have a state court. In the situation of USA, it is the vice president that chairs the upper house. So likewise, at the state level, they have Speaker pro tempore, and he is the chair of the upper house, and they have a separate elected speaker for their lower houses. In Kenya, I would like to state that their Senate plays an oversight responsibility on all county assemblies. But in Nigeria, the Senate does not exactly do that. So what I'm trying to say from this is that these are the peculiarities between all these national legislatures. However, they have some practices that are standard among all of them. They all pass bills. They have a speaker who sits in the middle. There are chambers. There are some standard practices. they have a procedure for passing bills, the speaker is addressed as Right Honorable, and all those. Apart from their peculiarities, they have some similarities. So this group will not try to change what makes your chamber peculiar and different. But the standard practices will be made clear that we all adopt and ensure that our practices are standard. We cannot let all of you call your houses parliament. No. Those are peculiar situations. But if your speaker is a speaker, of course, it must be addressed as Right Honorable. That is the standard. So that is what we want to do. Now, moving on, I'd like to address the first point that I have here, speaking. Now, as a speaker, it is important that you are laudable, you are eloquent, the people can hear you, you are able to speak. As a speaker, you must not be timid. You must be heard. When you are timid, the members will work on you. They will try to override you. You need to gain control over the house. One of the characteristics of gaining control over the house is having command over your language. When you have command over your language, the members will not override you. But if you don't have command over your language, when you're speaking, the house will not listen to you. How are you going to control the house? Right, honorable speakers, you have to gain command over the language in order to properly preside over the house. So kindly watch that. We have very eloquent speakers. It's not really about eloquency. Having control over the house is not about how smooth to speak, but having command over the language. When you have command and you are speaking, you draw the attention of honorable members. You see, there are some honorable members in your respective houses that when they are speaking, everyone wants to listen to them. But there are some honorable members, the time they start speaking now, it's like they have lost attention. It is because those honorable members of whom, when they start speaking, their house becomes noisy, because they don't have command over the language, and therefore they are unable to command the attention of their colleagues when speaking. So as speaker, if your people are not listening to you, it's because you don't have command over the language. Try and grab command over the language, and you'll be able to speak and command the house. Moving on to the second point I have over here, language. It is very important that we watch our language. Yes, no matter how big you are, humility will always fail. That is something that I respect Prof. Kwe and the Right Honorable Justice Bamford Addo. Their language is very humble. Right Honorable Justice Bamford Addo, yes, she's not loud, but the way she's so calm and collected, you want to listen to her. The Right Honorable Prof. Ira Michael Kwe, whenever honorable members are speaking, he addresses them as such and gives them that due respect. Respect is reciprocal. When you respect them, they respect you. But if you don't respect them, they will not respect you, obviously. So when you want them to stop speaking, there's a better way you can address them than telling them to sit down, shut up, and then all those derogatory or unparliamentary languages. You as the leader, must ensure that you don't use those statements or you don't use those kind of words, so that no one will have an evidence that yes, the leader used this kind of word before, therefore I'm permitted to use it. You have to mind your language, give them that respect, and they'll give you that respect back. So assuming you are presiding, honorable member, kindly proceed to speak. Honorable member, thank you for speaking. Honorable member, in conclusion, yes, so it's like you address them with love. As a speaker, you are more like the mother to the house, although you are a man, with two boys under you and then a banana. However, you are being seen as the mother of the house. And mothers have that kind of love for their children. So you have to see yourself as a mother, reading and aiding the children to reach a consensus on the matter. So if you see yourself as such, you address them with love. When you give them that love, it gives back to you. You having command over the language does not mean you speak on top of your voice and become too loud that you sound disrespectful. You can still speak on a respected volume, and you not sound disrespectful. You might still be speaking very humble, but when your voice is too loud, you will sound very disrespectful to the house, and they will disrespect you. So you have to watch your tongue. Honorable members, moving on. Facial communication. It is very important that you as speaker, you communicate to the house. It is not everything that you say. Yes. Sometimes the honorable members, you can just give them eye signal and they take it. They are talking honorable member, then he blink, and then he knows, yes, his time is up, or what he's doing is bad, or else you disgrace him, or you put him to order. So you have to learn to use gestures in the house. Sometimes do like this, then they understand. You have to create, that I cannot recommend, but you have to create some kind of gesture and facial communication among your members so that they can pick your signals without you always speaking. Because Charlie, by the time you're not speaking, you are hungry. So it is not everything that you have to say. So likewise, my chamber, when I want them to speak, yes, I'll be giving you signal. Yes, you. Yes, without me speaking. Then he knows, yes, he's prepared. No, it's not that you have to speak every time. Create some gestures and let the house familiarize with you. And then they know how to best relate with you. Moving on, consensus. Honorable members, the house is meant to reach consensus. If you are a speaker and you cannot lead the house to reach consensus, then why are you there? This is a decision-making house that you are chairing. And if you cannot help them to reach a decision, then I just don't know what to say. Consensus building is a skill that a presiding officer must have. Taking note of the fact that a house that is unable to reach a decision will be in disarray, confused, and perplexed. How do you reach consensus? You see, I don't like long sittings. I tell my people, I don't want to have you speaking, lamenting and lamenting. Give us a solution. If that is your solution, yes, if there is no counter solution, we take a voice vote on it. But if there is a counter solution or a counter proposal, we listen to both and we vote on it. Whatever the house decides, we take it as that is what the house will decide. Not everything will go the way you want it. You must know. And you must also know that not everything will go the way you want it. So far as the house has to reach a consensus, you must reach consensus. We cannot sit there to be hearing you lamenting every day. No. By all means, we have to reach consensus. We have things to do. We are students. We cannot sit there and be hearing you lamenting every day. No. We must reach a consensus. The house must move forward. So when an honor member is talking to my honor member, in conclusion, if he is not getting to the point, honor member, what do you suggest? Let them know, what do you suggest? If you don't have anything to suggest, honor member, resume your seat. Because you are just wasting the time of the house. We are not here to just be lamenting. We want to reach a decision. And apart from that, you, the speaker, if in case the house is not able to reach a decision, you need to have proposed honor members. Since the house is not able to reach a decision, I would like to propose to honor members that why don't we do like this and that? Honor member, have you picked it? Don't you see sense in it? Please move a motion that we do this. You must always ensure that the house reaches consensus so that we move on. So consensus building is a skill that every speaker must have it as such. Interventions. Interventional science helps the speaker to know the kind of submission honor members want to make. I know every house where they are standing order have a varying standing interventional science, but I'm very sure these four, in all of them, points of contribution or information, points of correction. You want to correct a fact being presented to the house. You want to follow up on what is being discussed. And then you want to put someone to order for misleading the house or not going according to the rules. These are the ones that I know, and I'm very sure they are also part of every parliament. You see, if you don't see the interventional sign, they would only come and waste your time. You must ensure that honorable members use the signs. And if they don't use the right signs, you tell them to resume their seat. So you must train them. And then let me recover the issue of points of order. Honor members, you must learn to rule on points of orders. Or else, if your ruling is not stated, they will keep on reiterating that point of order. The House needs to know whether you, the Speaker, has accepted it or has rejected it. That is, honor members, yes, this point of order has been overruled. This point of order has been upheld. And then you give the directives and then they move on. But if you don't state your position on that point of order, the House feels like, oh, maybe it's this one. You need to officially state your position on the point of order. So when you state that position, I believe the House will not repeat when you have made a ruling on that point of order. So they have moved they are raising the point of order that is not properly dressed. And then you have not addressed that point, and then you are like, you should move on. They will raise it again. They will raise it again. So you have to rule on them, and then they know where the House is heading to. Moving on. Procedural motions. Honor members, you may ask, what are motions? Motions are like proposals. Secondments are support to motions. And whenever a motion is moved and seconded, the House ought to reach a determination. And as I reiterated, it's important that you take voice votes. I'll get there. So procedural motions are the motions that are needed for the House to move on. They are motions that are already intertwined with the business of the day. The motion like adoption of the order paper is a procedural motion. The House has to adopt the order paper, so that is a procedural motion. But motions that does not exactly need to be stated for the House to move on, you can call them private members' motion and all those. Yes, decision making. Those are non-procedural motions. Sometimes it helps, but even when they are not stated, the House can still move on. So if the motion is for the House to adopt the report of the committee, yes, that is a procedural motion. But if the motion is that one person is proposing that the House should go on a suspension so that they can go and urinate or something like that, it is not a procedural motion. So those are procedural motions. They are the motions that are needed for the business of the day to flow. Okay. I already explained the private motions. Now, honor members, moving on. I spoke on voice vote. Voice vote is a model of voting. After voice vote, we have head count and division. So, as I said, when a motion is being moved and seconded, it is honorable that you conduct a voice vote, because two people should not take decision for the House, especially when it's not the Speaker to give a directive. Two people cannot take a decision for the House. That is why when a motion is being moved and seconded, a voice vote ought to be conducted so that honorable members can affirm or reject the proposal and the support made by two honorable members. Now, how do you take voice votes? It is very simple. The voice vote is a question put to the House. Because when you give a question, you expect an answer. That is why it is a question being put to the House. So the voice vote is a question being put to the House. And the question must be put on a motion being moved and seconded. So this is how you conduct it. A motion has been moved and seconded. Honorable members, motion moved and seconded. I now put the question to the House. You can reiterate the question or you can just move on. I now put the question to the House that the House adopt this order paper. Honorable members, all in favor, say aye. Not in favor, say nay. Of course, you have to give a break. All in favor, say aye. Then you hear what they say. Not in favor, say nay. Then you hear what they say. Then you move on and then you declare the result. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Therefore, this House has accordingly adopted the order paper for the day. Now, let me state this. It is at the discretion of the Speaker to determine whether, yes, the ayes have it or the nays have it. Okay? When an honorable member feels, yes, no, the ayes do not have it, you can challenge your ruling. So when, yes, of course, the nays were louder and you say the ayes have it, you are not wrong. It is within your prerogative to determine what you have heard. The standing orders of Parliament of Ghana are clear on that. It is within the discretion of the Speaker to declare what he has heard to be louder So if the speaker says he has heard the nays as louder, what you have to do is to challenge the ruling of the speaker to reach that determination for the house, not to insult the speaker. So let your people know so that they will not be making such talks up. Moving on, the usage of deputy speakers. Some of you have one deputy speaker. Some of you have two deputy speakers. However, I don't think two deputies is too much because for each of the sittings I've held, I've never regretted having two deputies. Sometimes my first deputy might not be around. It's only the second deputy. Sometimes the first deputy is reading a presentation to the house and I need to go and attend to an urgent business. Second deputy takes the chair. Please learn to use your deputies. You cannot punish yourself by sitting throughout. Sitting for 5 hours and want to sit throughout. Come on. You have deputy speakers there. Train them so that in your absence, they will not lead the house for disarray. Train your deputy speakers and use them. You want to urinate, you want to pick a call, you are tired, you want to stretch yourself. Call one of the deputy speakers or your deputy speakers. Come and cheer. Use them. At least try that each day. Any of them that are around, they cheer small so that they can have the feeling of cheering the house. If you don't give them the opportunity, they'll be like, I'm not giving them the opportunity to cheer. So, in you taking that break, you are satisfying their conscience that yes, I've cheered the house. One of the strategies that I used in appointing my deputies was that they were all speakers before, so they have already had that satisfaction of cheering the house. Yes, but some of you, your deputy speakers have not been speakers before, so they want to cheer some. So at least before the sitting close, let them cheer for some 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and then you take it back. There is nothing wrong. So while we don't leave the house to disarray. One of the ways that you can even do this is when a report is being presented and the report is done. Let the deputy sit and listen. You go out as you are stretching, you read it, and you come back and then you proceed. So that is it. Moving on. Short sittings. Honor members, I encourage you guys to have short sittings. When the sitting is too long, you're killing yourself. It is in the standing orders of Parliament of Ghana that sittings be held from 10 a.m. in the forenoon to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. That is 4 hours minimum. So whenever they start late and it is 2 p.m., the speaker directs that the house sits over 2 p.m. So the average sitting time for even Parliament of Ghana on this day is 4 hours. So why would you kill yourself to sit 8 hours, 10 hours, all this? The cost to the reason why sittings are long is because there are confusions. That is why you need the consensus building skill. When you have the consensus building skill, when you have that skill, of course, the house will close it. But if you don't have consensus building skill, you are unable to sort little issues in the house. The house will sit for long. Yes. So you as the speaker, your mind is that I just want to close early. I just want to close early. So you are not interested in their long talks because you are aiming at closing early. That interest would help you close the sitting early. But if you are enjoying the sitting, forget the sitting will last. Aim at having short sittings. It is very good. If there is nothing you can do about it, learn to utilize your deputy speakers. Okay. Now moving on, I'm now going to the structural part. Speakers table. Honor members, there are two types of ways the speakers table and the clerks table can be handled. It's either when the room does not have any stage, you can just have a long table with you in the middle, a deputy speaker and a clerk. That is when there are only three. But when there are two clerks, the two clerks can sit beside you. Yes. Now, in the case where there is a stage at the venue that you are using, the clerk should sit in front of the stage. Or if it's a clerk and deputy speaker who is not an MP, and sit. And then you sit alone. One of the reasons why speakers sit alone is that when there is someone seated close to you, the person will be distracting you. The person, something small he wants to tell you, will be distracting your attention from the house. That is why the speaker sits alone, so that he can be in control without people confusing you. When they need you, they should either text you, or if they cannot text you, they come around, and then even coming around to speak to you, they should text you whatever they want to say. You can communicate with the house through texting. The MPs that you have among them, you can communicate to them through texting. No one is actually supposed to sit with the speaker. If you have two clerks in front of you, your deputy speaker should not be sitting with you. They should sit among the MPs. When you need them to cheer, they will come and cheer. Because when they are seated around, they will distract you a lot. I hope some of you can testify to that. They will distract you. Something small and they want to tell you. No, they should sit among the MPs. When it is only one clerk and the deputy speaker is not an MP, they can sit in front. If the deputy speaker is not an MP and has a role, they can all sit in front of you. When you need them, they will come. But you ought to sit alone. And it's important that when you are sitting, the table be positioned in the middle of the auditorium, in the middle on the speaker's dais, it is the stage. Because you want to have a fair view of honorable members. If you are too much to the right, you will not see them very well. So you have to be in the middle. That is the position of the speaker's table and flex table. Ensure that you are in control. Check the venue before you start the sitting and put things in place. If you like, you yourself come and arrange it. It's not like Parliament of Ghana that their structures are already there. The speaker does not need to be come. But this is a student parliament. You have to come there and ensure that things are things are going on well. You get it? Now the mace. The mace is the authority of the house. If you don't have a mace, no problem. But if you have a mace, ensure that especially for SRC, it should be the one that when the president comes, can face for the state of the SRC address. The mace is actually supposed to be facing the top. In other parliaments, the mace faces the government side. But in Ghana, our practice is that the mace stands so for. I think I've not seen the Ghanaian practice elsewhere. That makes our chamber very unique. Other parliaments, their mace, a lot of them, their mace is always facing majority side. I'm happy that the Ghana parliament has that peculiarity. Yes, I'm happy about that. Now, moving on. The gavel. All members, you don't have any excuse not to have a gavel. You must all have the gavel. The gavel is a tool that really enforces or sounds your authority and your rulings. If the gavel is not there, I don't know, it's not really jamming. You have to get a gavel. Any carpenter can do a gavel for you. If you don't have, go and get a gavel. You need a gavel. The gavel is usually hit after every voice vote is conducted, after each ruling of yours. And if you want to put the house in order, you hit it once. If you want to put the house in order, you can hit it thrice. Honorable members, order. Then taking voice vote. Motion moves. The motion carries. Therefore, this house is in favor of the report being delivered. It's just as simple. Please go and get your gavel if you don't have. If you don't have, I'm re-entreating it again. Go and get your gavel. Now moving on. What is it? Sitting arrangement. I presented on sitting arrangement of the house. The sitting arrangement. You have opposing bench, the arc, the circle, semicircle, and then all those. Depending on your venues, you can adopt any. Yes. For my parliament, Youth Impact Parliament, the arrangement that we have is actually, we use opposing benches. But APSRC, they use the classroom arrangement. Okay. Yes, they use the classroom. So try and then change your sitting arrangement if you can. I think KNUST, the ideal center, they have a semicircle, which is very beautiful. So if the venue can accommodate a different time, change it a little bit. For me in particular, I record my sittings, so I need my honor members showing in the video. That is why I use opposing benches. But yours might be different. So just look through. If you can change it, change it. Moving on, ropes. Honor members, if you don't have a rope, try and get one. If in case your rope is not standard, try and get a standard. The rope projects the chamber. If you have been looking at Youth Impact Parliament, you realize that our color is gold. Because the gold is very, very catchy. As I stated, the rope draws attention. The robe really keeps attention on the speaker. So if your robe is not attractive, try and see what they can do. I myself, I have someone who really sews the robe. I design robes myself. I'm there for you. Try and get very good robes. You can go and check my pictures. The robe is very nice. Of course, we are looking at, I'm mimicking the Right Honorable Albert Manaki Bagman's robe. That's a very beautiful robe. And I do applaud Parliament for such a very beautiful design. So, honorable members, get the robes. The Deputy Speaker don't exactly need robe, but whoever is sharing must have a robe. As of now, my youth Parliament, I've created a jacket for my Deputy Speaker. The jacket is more like a mini robe, because when they wear it, you can still see that golden thing on them. So even if they don't have robe, you can do a jacket for them. But if they have robe, that is very beautiful. Try and ensure that they all have robes. I do not support having the clerk seated in front of you without robe. Whoever is seated in front of you, ensure that they are robed. So if in case you only have one clerk and your deputy speaker is not an MP, the deputy speaker can join the clerk so that they are all in robe. Ensure that you yourself is properly in robe. It is very good that you wear suits under the robe. That is a very beautiful way of wearing robe. When you are wearing these African wears and all those. You see, the robe self does not have to really come in. It just goes from the neck and then down. So the suit, all the suit looks are looking from there. For me, I always wear suits for all my sittings. And it really makes it nice. Sometimes it sends a signal that the speaker is serious for business. Whoever is in suit is being seen to be ready for business. So I want to encourage you all to wear suits whenever you are coming to preside over the house. It sounds like you are ready for business and you are not here to joke. But if you come in any of your, you understand what I'm talking. So please, whenever you are wearing the robe, ensure that you are wearing suit under. It's very, very nice. Even for your pictures, you see that yes, you are looking very executive. You are addressed by how you look. So let's ensure that our robes are nice and then we are always wearing something very good. Please ensure that the ladies, ensure that wherever you are wearing is long sleeve. When you wear the robe and then we are seeing your bare hand coming out from the robe, it looks like you are naked. That is why the convention, even in Parliament of Ghana, is that you always wear a suit under the robe because you want to see something with your hand. So if you are not wearing a long sleeve, it looks like you're naked. So the ladies, our madam speakers, ensure that they're always wearing a long sleeve under the robe so that you can see them very clearly. Then the gentlemen, please, whatever you are wearing, ensure that it's long enough. This African print, if you want African print, no problem. But if you are wearing a kaftan and then it's not long sleeve, it's not good. It looks like you are naked. So please look at that. But I actually endorse wearing suits under the robes. Let's take note of that. Moving on, video recording. Right, honorable members, you know you will not be a speaker forever. It is very good when you have recordings of your proceedings. It is very good for the record. So try and record your proceedings. If honorable members, if you don't have a tripod stand, get someone to take your phone and record your proceedings. It's very nice when you have those recordings available. You can always refer to them, or even when if you want to be nostalgic, want to be in nostalgic mode, you can look at those records. Apart from that, having this video recording does project your chamber. It does project your chamber. For a long time now, Parliament of Ghana does not record. Before then that they started, Parliament of Ghana does not really record their proceedings. It is only when the president is coming to the chamber or they have a special sitting. But I think starting from the 6th Parliament, they started recording all proceedings, and it's very good. It helps with reference points and then keeping memories. So please, try and record your sittings. My Parliament is my personal phone that I use. I just go for a tripod stand and I record all the posts and I upload them. You can always refer to them. It does project the chamber. NASSG also does very well with that. I don't really know about other chambers. Try and record your proceedings, right, honorable speakers. It will help you. You'll not be a speaker forever. Sometimes this opportunity only comes once in a lifetime. And maybe until you become the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament or a youth parliament. Yes, but try and record your sittings because you will only be a student within the undergraduate system once. When you are privileged to be a speaker, record your sittings. I am re-increasing it again. record your settings. If you don't have the phone to record, you can do a voice recording. And if someone has a phone, they can just record 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's just very good you have this, and it really helps a lot. So, right, honorable speakers, please record your settings and move on. Pictures. The pictures that also project the chamber. If the SRC should be able to afford a professional photographer, come and take very beautiful pictures. Regardless, if the SRC does not have, if there is an MP with an iPhone, you should take some very nice pictures and you can be sharing. It does project the chamber and you yourself. In addition, nostalgia, memories. So please, try and ensure that even if not all, the state of the SRC address or the inauguration or the dissolution of your chamber should, you should take very good pictures. It does help. Okay, so now members, please look at that. Try and record your sittings and official pictures be taken. Hansard, minutes. Some clerks are not really good at recording the minutes. Their minutes taken is quite poor. Try and look at that. Give them copies of the Hansards of Parliament for them to see the quality of recording. Within the student fraternity, what we do is that we rephrase what the honorable member has said. No problem with that. But when they are rephrasing, they should capture the actual point the person is trying to state or the person stated. And the minutes, they are very good minutes templates. And I think we can adopt that of the Hansard or the vote and proceedings of Parliament. USLC has done that. And during the parliamentary, the chamber briefings, we will share all those for you to see. It is very important that we have very good records. Those are the record of the house, and especially for SRC business. Your minutes are very important for referencing. So if your clerk is not good at taking minutes, you have a problem. So please relook at that and ensure that your clerks take very good minutes. And then the template, develop a very nice template for your minutes. Have a look at that. The order paper. Some chambers have a different way of drafting their order papers. That's fine. But at least some standard things is that you start with the speaker's prayer. And then if you want to welcome honorable members, communication from the chair. And then, as normal, you adopt the order paper, which is business for the day, apology of absence. And then you deliberate on your business. I want to reiterate this. You don't take recess during a sitting. If it's a short break, it's called suspension and not recess. Recess is when the house adjourns sine die and they're not coming back. That break, that very long break is seen and recognized as recess of the house. It is not a short break. The short break is called suspension. So let's have a look at that. And then, obviously, the house adjourns at the end of the day. Regardless of the fact that you are done with business or not, it is an adjournment of the house. And after adjournment, you don't pray. There is no prayer after adjournment. I can ascertain that fact. It is not done anywhere that you pray after adjournment. Honourable members, there is no closing prayer after the house adjourns. So please take a look at that. No prayer after the house adjourns. The order paper, just look at it very well and you are good to go. Right, honourable speakers, this is the end of what I've prepared to, to teach you all about, which is the standard practices that all student legislators must have. Right, honourable speakers, the floor is now open for submissions, clarity, and contributions or corrections. Thank you very much. Whoever wishes to speak can kindly unmute himself. Then we take questions and answers, clarifications, and then corrections. Thank you very much. Right, honourable speakers, questions and answers. Unmute yourself if you have a question. Hello.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yes, I did realize that the point you made mention of the point of order, point of information and point of correction. I want to find out whether these these points of interventions in the house are also applicable in the National Student Parliament House setup. You see, what you mentioned of, I realize that it is normally common among the General Assemblies of SRCs, departments, but when you come to the Student Parliament, that is directly under the national, that operates directly under the National Parliament. I do not know whether we do have all these three standing on points of interventions, please.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to educate the House that before the introduction of consuls in Parliament of Ghana, they were actually using the signs. Yes, but since the time they have the consuls, when I talk about consuls, you see, that it's like tablet that is in front of the MPs. It's a consul, and all of them are intertwined, and they directly communicate to the Speaker's master consul. So when they have a point of correction, information, point of order, or follow-up, they press the consul, and then they just raise their hand a little bit for the Speaker to know. So by then, before they will speak, the Speaker knows which exact intervention the Honorable Man wants to do. So in their case, it really helps because the Speaker might not really be seeing you, but when you press your intervention, it appears on your screen that Honorable this. So that is why they don't encourage that when you are not on your console, you don't make submission, because whatever console you press, the name of that console will project that it is that honorable who wants to speak. So in that case, when the console is there, the usage of the interventional signs will not really be relevant. But as you know, our national parliament, 275 MPs, is quite a big chamber. When someone is so much far at the back bench, I'm not sure the speaker can clearly see. So in their case, the console really helps for the speaker to know how the honorable wants to speak, whether it's a point of order, submission, whether it's a point of order, submission, correction, or information. So I'm very sure within the National Student Parliament, the National Youth Parliament, we're talking about student parliament or youth parliament, because I'm not sure we have a National Student Parliament. It's only National Youth Parliament.
Exactly.
Yes, the National Youth Parliament, the NYA's standing orders, they are supposed to use the National Chamber during recess. So obviously they'll use the console. And when they are using the console, there wouldn't be any need for them to use the sign. But within our practice, our chambers are quite small. I'm very sure you should be able to see and then you also don't have consoles. So obviously the interventional signs will be relevant in your spectrum. I hope I've answered your question. Right, Honorable Solomon. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Any further questions, clarifications, corrections, or additions? Right, Honorable Speakers, you can unmute your mic and then ask those questions, clarifications.
Honorable.
Yes, please. Please proceed.
Okay. Thank you for the education given us. I would like to ask one question. It's with regards to voting in the house. Is the voting in the house systematical? I say this in the sense that do we need to put the voice vote first before, if the voice vote is being challenged, we resort to secret or head count or division? Or an honorable member can just raise a motion to subject the voting to secrecy. I just want to clarify on that.
Okay. So thank you very much for the question. It is systematic, but it is in two folds. The reason why I'm stating that it is systematic and in two folds is that the first fold is when it is a single motion single applicant or single nomination, the first thing to do, or you ought to do, is to take a voice vote when the motion is moved and seconded, or when the nomination is made and seconded, because it's just one person. So in that case, if they want to challenge your ruling, then they can call for a division or a head count or secret ballot. Yes. But the second vote is when it is two motions, a motion and a counter motion, or two nominations. For the motion issue, when the counter motion is opposite, you can still go by voice vote, because when the nays have it, it is obviously opposite. But when it is a different motion, then the House will have to take a decision. So you cannot take voice vote. So in that case, you, the Speaker, can even call for a head count or secret balloting, whether they want this motion or not. But on the issue of nomination, when I talk about nomination, I mean nominating an honorable member, take this, yes, that is what I mean. When there are two or more, you cannot obviously take a voice vote. So in that fold, you obviously have to call for a secret balloting or head count. Yes, so that is it basically. Thank you. Do you have a follow-up?
I'm very clear with that. So, quick one as well. In
Yes.
our university, when it comes to the nomination of the Speaker of Parliament, it is done by the SRC President. After that, it is captured in our constitution that the voting on the Speaker of Parliament should be done by secret ballots. And this is the case, it is only one person that is being nominated. So it happened during, I think, last two administration, of which the chief clerk who chaired the voting of the Speaker of Parliament started with the voice votes, and all the House said yes to confirm his candidacy, of which he also posed the motion again, and then they didn't get even a single no. Then they proceed to call the Speaker and then sworn him into office without anyone raising allegation about that. But the student body were later agitating with regards to stating the constitution that it should be a secret ballot, of which it was being done by a voice vote. So with that approach that they use, it is good, or it's like, I don't know whether you get my point.
Yes, I've gotten your point. Okay. And answering your question, I'd like to say that when there are clear directions on how an issue must be done or an issue must be held, you go by that directive. The Constitution says, regardless of the fact that it is one nomination or two, there must be secret voting. I would have advised, if I was there, that they go by the secret voting, because that is what the Constitution says. However, maybe in the wisdom of the clerk, he does not see the relevance for only one nominee that a voice vote, a secret balloting should be held. Might just be a waste of resources. And I concur with him. If there's just one nominee, a voice vote should be taken before, if there is a challenge, then we do a secret voting. So if you'd ask me, that clause should be amended to state that whenever there is one nominee, just a motion should be moved. And if they are not okay, then they take a voice vote. But I think what the Constitution was trying to prevent is that if in case they are against, they should just go straight to the point and then append their vote if they are for the Speaker or not. So I think if the Speaker is in good faith, the Speaker nominates in good faith, he shouldn't be scared of the voice vote. But it must be noted that when there is a clear directive, the directive should be followed. So since the Constitution says that it should be secret balloting, the clerk, regardless of whether it is one person, should simply conduct the secret balloting, because honorable members can make a very big point that the procedure was not followed. Therefore, the Speaker has not been properly elected. Therefore, he should not be there. And they could have made a case, as a matter of fact. So if he escaped and then that was not brought against him, good for him. But the next clerk should ensure that he follows that provision until it's been changed. Thank you very much. Any follow-up or contribution or question?
Yeah, right. This is also
Yes,
with regard our standing orders um, of the house.
yes, please.
The our constitution in our case do not have a clear picture on the standing orders we use in our chamber. What the constitution touches on is only the contempt of parliament and then the various interventional signs being used at the house. So most of the times we are also compelled to use the parliamentary watch so that we get much
Okay.
knowledge about how the national do their things and then we also practice accordingly. So in view of that, if I want to come up with standing orders for the house, what are the chapters I need to follow to constitute one for my school?
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. With respect to standing orders, I personally drafted a standing order for Youth Impact Parliament. But in the case of SRCs, whatever standing order that you are drafting must be in consonance with the SRC constitution. For a youth parliament scenario, maybe we need a whole lot of provisions in that said standing order. But within the SRC spectrum, a whole lot of provisions might not be relevant and might not even work. The standing order talks about a whole lot of procedures and then committees and then all those. So in my case, even for me, I'm still contemplating on relevant provisions of standing orders that will be suitable for SRC chambers before I come out and release it and propose to honorable members. Because a lot of provisions over there might not be relevant for an SRC chamber, but for student parliament house and youth parliament, it will be relevant. So I can affirm to you that I'm working on it, and then if you are determined to pass a standing order for the house, we can work together and examine the provisions that are relevant, the ones that are relevant, then we'll use it, and then we'll pass it. But the ones that are not relevant, we take them out. So even after this meeting, I can share with you the NYA one, and then we'll look through the ones that are relevant. We can start working on them. The ones that are not relevant, we take them out.
Oh, okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Right, Honorable Gabriel. Yes.
Okay, so I've actually I didn't join the conference early. I think I joined in the middle of your lecture when you were speaking about the rules but then when I joined, I've heard standing orders, I've heard order papers and a lot of things, but it seems all these things are not stipulated in the constitution that we use in my institution. I think this is kind of new to me. The kind of processes that we follow, if you compare it to that of the national parliament, it's a bit different. So I'm still trying to find my way how to fuse all of these insights so that we can practice it in our school. And we are trying to also amend our constitution. So maybe I have to speak to Right Honorable Jones and then some people so that they can help me draft a better constitution and how procedures in parliament should be done. Because if you look clearly into our constitution and you compare it to that of other institutions, it's quite different. There are so many things which are not stipulated inside. And then I find it like a problem to us, because if we want to practice a system that is subjected to that of the national level, all these things needs to be inside. But this is the situation whereby I was a member of our old Senate before I was elected as the president, but I didn't see these things inside. I only heard of the standing orders, the order papers, and the rest until I joined the WhatsApp group. That was when I saw these things, but all these are not stated in our constitution. So it's like I'm still finding my way out. Maybe I have to ask people so that they explain things better to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can assure you that I'm there to aid you and then everything. I think as of the time set was the Senate chairman, later changed to Senate president. He also spoke to me about the issue of Valley View not having an adequate provisions to run the SRC, and he complained bitterly. So I even worked on some amendments. But it appears whoever is the chair of the view committee don't see the wisdom in whatever we have drafted. So I'll sit with you. But I'd like to also state that it is not everything that is stated in the Constitution. It is not everything that is stated in the standing orders. We have something called convention, conventional practices. Most of the things that are done are not even stated. The Constitution of the standing order might not state that when you want to speak, you address it. You should speak in this way, this counts. No, those are conventions. And majority, these conventions are not stated. They come by observation and then learning from the people who are there. So for ATSRC, that is why we in the SRC, we encourage, or whether it is a parliament, we encourage that old members be there to teach new members the conventions, because conventions are not stated, and we can't state everything in the books. That is why we encourage for old members to be there, so that when they know the conventions, they teach the new generation. So we really encourage elder statesmanship. For SRCs, when the person has been the speaker before, he shouldn't go away from the council. When the person has been a vibrant member of the parliament, he shouldn't go away, so that they can be teaching the current people the conventions. Because the conventions, we can't state all. I think in Ghana, it's been called common law. Common law is not stated anywhere. They are the values, norms, the values and norms and social, yes, all those. Those are common law, and then they cannot be stated. But it is expected that you don't insult an elderly. It is in the law. It is in common law that you don't insult an elderly. But it's not stated anywhere. So it is just in this situation. So if you'd ask me, if you want to really make it easier, that is why I encourage recording of videos. You see, when you record Senate sittings and proceedings, the conventions should have been practiced inside. Whoever is serious about the business would go and watch those recordings, and he would have picked a whole lot of conventions. But if there is no archive for reference, the minutes are not there, the recordings are not there, the pictures are not there. How, and the elder statesmen are not there, how are they going to refer and see what you do? That is why I encourage that you record your sittings and upload them. The pictures are there, and the minutes are properly taken. And then the other statements are there, so that the conventions can keep on flowing. So let's work on that, and then I'm very sure we can get the conventions. But we can't state the conventions inside. For the Constitution, it must only capture entrenched directives. Like the SRC president must deliver a state of the SRC address to the Senate or to Parliament. That is statutory. But the Constitution must not state the time. It can state that within 4 weeks upon assumption. It can state that at the first week. But should not state that at 2 o'clock of Thursday. No, that is not a good constitutional drafting skill. You don't state specific timelines on Constitution, because those things, by nature, they might not really abide by it. And when they don't go, people will have legal grounds for removal and then cautions and all those. So constitutional drafting is a skill, and I think Valley View has a little bit of that problem. I realized that they stated the time for the sitting, and this time, no, those things are bad. And this is, it makes it very hard for you to keep the SRC running. So I'm there for you. We'll see how we can do. We can adopt a very simple constitution for Valley View without all those complications, and I'm sure the running of the SRC will be good. But I want to encourage you to record sittings and missions so that the conventions can be seen in them. Thank you very much. Any follow-up? We have a follow-up.
Thank you very much for educating me on these stats. I'm sure maybe when we are done with this meeting, we can speak as well and then discuss so many things, because I have a lot of questions I want to ask, but maybe, and because of time, I'm not sure I can share everything here.
Okay, for now, when it is a question on practice, I will encourage you to ask it because we are recording this session and then other members can also benefit from your questions. But if it is a parliament specific one that you want to keep it personal, no problem. But if it is on best practices, I would advise you to answer.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
Okay. Right, Honorable Lord, do you have any questions?
Okay. First, number my question is with regards to we encountered a challenge not long ago with regards to the marshal of the house. We have our platform of which all the parliamentarians, including myself and the three flags of parliament, are on. And after the cadets commander delegated a marshal to the house, I added the marshal to the platform. And the MPs were, the members of parliament were asking a whole lot of questions that the work of the marshal is physical protection, that is protecting the chamber when proceedings is ongoing. So they don't see the relevance of me adding the marshal on the platform. And the little advice I gave them was that the parliamentary council is being constituted by the members of parliament, the speaker, the clerks, and all officials in the council. So if you have a general platform, the only thing that restricts the marshal and the other clerks and non-parliamentarians are maybe holding sitting on the platform and then they contributing. That is what they are not mandated in doing. And I want to ask if the clarification I gave them is in order, or if there's anything that I need to also know so that I can address this issue when we meet face to face for proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable. Right Honorable, as a matter of fact, you are right. You are right in all aspects. If that is a general platform, the marshal has all the privileges and rights to be part of that platform. In fact, security matters he can even deal with it on that platform. If he's the administrator and then someone's phone was hacked, the marshal has all the right to take the person out. If in case someone is fooling, he can even his work is even also visible even on the virtual platform. So you are right in all contexts. There is no legal base for the marshal not to be part of. In fact, it's a general platform. If it is a platform for only MPs, in fact, the speaker should also not be part. But for the fact that the speaker is part, that means it's a general platform. So on what basis are they making that making that standard the marshal shouldn't be part? Is the clerk an MP? Clerk is not an MP. Is the clerk going to keep minutes on that general platform? No. But if a meeting will be held, she can still do it. The marshal is also needed on that person to put them into order and carry your orders. If in case an honor member is fooling, also remove them. So their case does not hold, it is flawed. And you are right on all points and all avenues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Honorable. My next one is also has to do with is there any way or any channel that we can follow to get some of the national parliaments, maybe staffs or the parliamentarians on board for some workshop or in our campus, on our campus? Maybe if there is any way that we can reach out to them for them to also come and meet us and then give us a little money to also have in our part from the national level.
Thank you very much. I'll answer this question in two folds. I'll answer it on the channel and I'll answer it on the availability of the people we need using the channel. First of all, in our current situation, the MPs are really stuck. Because right now it's a hung parliament. So I even doubt if anyone can get them to come for a program. Because the whips told them that they should be around. The only time that they can be roaming around is weekend or when the house is on recess. So with respect to that, I don't know how we can get the MPs or the speakers. But however, Parliament has a parliamentary institute. And I believe if we can contact the Public Affairs Directorate, the people who teach on Parliamentary Institute should be able to come and teach the student parliamentarians and all those. And apart from that, the former MPs of Parliament of Ghana are also there. And I'm very sure they have a lot of knowledge embedded in them. I don't think if we want to really make use of this, we should only contact incumbents, especially in this situation. To be hard to get incumbent speakers. The former speakers, you no more need parliamentary protocol to get them. The former speaker, former deputy speakers, and then former MPs. You no more need the parliamentary protocol to get them. You can just get them if you have their numbers, or if you are part of a party. I'm sure the party heads and can have their number, regardless of the political divide. If you have that contact, you can get them and say, although they are not incumbents, there's a lot of knowledge in them, and they coming to teach you will help. I think it is time for us to make use of the former MPs, because at this time they're getting incumbents from them. It will be very difficult. So if you'd ask me, if you're in contact with one of these former MPs of Parliament of Ghana, you can get them and then they'll happily come. But as of now, maybe they also need a hype. That opportunity is one they want. So let's make use of them. So that is, if you ask me. Getting the contact of the Public Affairs Director, Ms. Keklo, not be a problem. In Parliament, I don't know whether I have a contact, but we can still get it for you. Follow the protocol if you still want an incumbent speaker. Or if you have one of the former speakers, one of your MPs will surely have a contact of one of the former MPs. And you can get them. So let's make use of the former MPs. At this time, they're the incumbent here. I'm not sure we can get them. Thank you. Yes, honorable members, right honorable speakers, questions and answers. Honorable Seth, any questions, answer, contributions? If there are no questions, answers, and contributions, I wanted the secretary to speak on a physical meeting we want to hold, but since he is not around, I'll go ahead and talk about the announcement that I have, and then at the end of the announcement, I'll reintroduce to have the leadership of our group. So, right honorable speakers, you can see on your screen. If you can see on your screen, the chamber briefings. I want to speak on the chamber briefings, the incumbent speakers that we have, and the leaders of this caucus. So the chamber briefings, we are starting next week, Monday. So briefly speaking, the chamber briefings is an opportunity given to each incumbent speaker to brief the House on his or her chamber. The necessary information for this chamber briefing is you have to introduce yourself, your deputy speakers, the clerks and deputy clerks, and marshal, and all those administrative workers, their names, programs, and pictures. If it's an SRC chamber, of course, we want to know the SRC president, the SRC vice president, Chief Justice. Now, after that, you should talk about the name of your chamber, whether it is Parliament, it is Legislative Assembly, it is Local Assembly, it is Parliamentary Council, General Assembly. State it specifically. And then the members of chamber, we are just talking about the number. How many MPs do you have, or how many accredited members do you have? You state it for us. The majority and minority leaders, majority and minority whip, some SRCs of these people, not a problem. You can also note the notable members of your house. I think that will also be fine. Then robes, pictures of you in robe or if the roofs were taken, we want to see pictures of the roofs of your chamber, the mace. If you have a mace, take a picture and share it with us. If you have a gavel, you take a picture and share with us. Now the location of your seatings. We want to know where you usually hold your seatings. Just let us know. So you state them whether it is this venue, the usual one, and emergencies. Minutes, if you have the minutes, to share them as a document. Just one, only need one. 1 minute of your house. Another paper, you share it. And then a letterhead, if you have a letterhead, you share it for us to see, so that we can learn from what you have. And after that, if your chamber has a logo, you can also share it with us. We want to see your logo. Then the bills, we want to see how you draft your bill. You can send it to us as document. And then after the bills have been passed, we want to see how it looks as an act. And then recordings and pictures of your proceedings. Just upload one, or if it's a link, you share the link with us and then you upload a very short one for us to see. Pictures taken, if it is a link, and then you share some with us. Okay. So that is it briefly on the chamber briefing. I would like to talk about, of course, we need to know the people who begin the chamber briefing. So I would like to officially state our incumbent speakers. From that, I'll identify some of our former speakers. So the incumbent speakers that we have currently in this group, we have the Right Honorable Ba Achem for Lord. Please forgive me, I'm a Voltarian, so I might not properly pronounce your name. So we have the Right Honorable yes. So we have the Right Honorable Ba Achem for Lord Ebenezer, who is the Speaker of the University of Energy and Natural Resources, SLC Parliamentary Council. We also have Right Honorable Jamkani Suleiman Shamuna, the Speaker of the KNUSC Student Parliament House. We have Right Honorable Andrew Anochi Tremantin, the Speaker of the KNUSC SRC Parliamentary Council. We have the Right Honorable David Amwako Ajeman, the Speaker of University of Ghana Accra City Campus SRC General Assembly. We have the Right Honorable Kumbaja Christine Paxson, the Speaker of the University of Education Winneba Student Representative Council Local Assembly. We have the Right Honorable David Amanona, the Speaker of Whole Technical University Student Parliamentary Council, Student Representative Council, Parliamentary Council. I think they recently changed their own to just Parliament. And we also have the Right Honorable Anze Kwano Ifran, is the Speaker of the University of Professional Studies Student Parliamentary Council General Assembly. We have Right Honorable Awa Solomon Sunday, is the Speaker of University of Professional Studies UPSA SRC UPSA Student Parliament House. We have Right Honorable Matthew Abre Indela, is the Speaker of the University of Mines and Technologies SRC Legislative Assembly. They have Right Honorable Noah Osei Aseno, is the Speaker of the Central University Student Parliament House. They have Right Honorable Issa Rahama, she is the Speaker of the University of Development Studies Student Parliament House. They have Right Honorable Afram Kwame Prince, is the Speaker of the Simon Diedon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies SRC General Assembly. We also have the Right Honorable Nana Yao Otri, the Speaker of the University of Ghana Accra City Campus Student Parliament House. We have Right Honorable Jennifer Enam Amegashie. She is the Speaker of the Tsunami Technical University SRC General Assembly. We have Right Honorable Oduro Elijah Konado. He is the Speaker of the United Nations Youth Association Youth Government Initiative Youth Parliament. We have Right Honorable Gabriel Gansa. He is the president of the Valley View SRC Senate. We have Right Honorable Samara Nati. She is the speaker of the ATU SRCGA. We have Right Honorable Ekwa Manam Asase. She is the speaker of the Takrady Technical University SRC Parliamentary Council. We have Right Honorable Afriye Adai. She is the speaker of the University of Allied Health and Sciences SRC Parliament. We have Right Honorable Kuma Saskar. He is the speaker of the College of Health Kintampo SRC Parliament. We have Right Honorable Raymond Tijoli. He is the speaker of the Methodist University College SRC General Assembly. We have Right Honorable Janet Ayeko Chimijo. She is the speaker of the Presbyterian University College of Ghana SRC Parliament. Yes, SRC Parliament. We have Right Honorable Eliklin Gamo. He is the speaker of the University of Cape Coast SRC Parliamentary Council. We have Right Honorable Frank B. Kwaten. He is the speaker of the Accra Technical University SRC Student yes, Accra Technical University Student Parliament House. We have Right Honorable Stephen Kofi Awa-Kobe. He is the speaker of the University of Ghana SRC General Assembly. We have Right Honorable Teresa Seriam Agbenyega. She is the speaker of the Data Link Institute of Business Technology SRC General Assembly. We have Right Honorable Eugene Esia Jr. He is the speaker of the University of Ghana Student Parliament House. We have Right Honorable Wendy Suma Banguluri. She is the speaker of the University of Technology and Applied Science Student Parliament House. Then we have Right Honorable Miss Abdullah Sueba. She is the speaker of the Ghana Baptist University SRC Parliamentary Council. Then we have Right Honorable Frederick Kudaya. He is the speaker of the Koforidua Technical University General Assembly of the SRC. Then myself, Right Honorable Jonas Amegashie-Viglo, the Speaker of Youth Impact Parliament. So these are the incumbent speakers. Now let me proceed to identify some of our former speakers. Right Honorable members, you have Abraham from SRC UDS, you have Adbeku Rafo from SRC ATU, you have Amenyona from UG Parliament House, you have Ampem from SRC UG GA, you have Anderson from KNUST SRC Parliament, you have Apia Prince from KFTU SRC GA, you have All Night PUCG SPH, Bar 4 Jimia, Central University Student Parliament House, Benjamin Kisi Sasu, KNUST SRC. We have Caleb Sapin, SRC Valley View Senate. We have Christabel, UG ACC SPH, Clinton GBU SRC PC. David Armstrong, SRC TTU, DeGraff SRC Kintampo College. Desmond from ATU SRC. Then we also have Elizabeth, UG ACC SPH. And Okpobe, UPSC Student Parliament House. Eric Danso, CCTU SRC. Then we have Eric Sandora, SRC KTU Parliament. Then we have Felix Adiche, HTU SRC. Fiano Michael, SRC Health of College of Kintampo. And we also have Humvila, KNUST SRC Parliament. And we also have Hadi from UDS SPH, Irene Kujo, SRC CCTU, which is Cape Coast Technical University. Then we have Justin from ATU SPH, Kaburi from KNUST SRC KNUST SPA, Student Parliament House. Then we have Karimu Yaya, SRC UCC Parliament. Lawrence from ATU SPH. Another Lawrence again from UHAS SRC Parliament. Then we have Mike, UG SPH. Then we also have Nana, also from Agogo Campus, Student Parliament House. We have Nietzsche, SRC GIJ. Then we have Oliver from Amostad. We also have Prince Gavi, SRC UPSA. We have Randy from UENR SRC. We have Robert from KNUST SPH. Samuel Sake UHAS SRC. Seth SRC Senate, Valley View. Another Seth again. Okay, Seth is part of us. Yes, Seth KSTU SRC. Simon Aguma UEU SPH. Then those are all the formal speakers. Now, I want to use this opportunity to introduce to the House. I want to use this opportunity to introduce to the House the incumbent leaders of this caucus. We have Asedu Kwabena, who is secretary of this group. We have Collins Masu, who is the Vice Chairperson Administration, then Derek Ajekun, who is Vice Chairperson Operations, and then myself, Johnson Amegashie-Viglo, your chairman. This is the leadership. From this, I want to now talk about the timetable. The timetable for, where is this thing going? Okay, very good. The timetable for the chamber briefings. So as you can see on the screen, the chamber briefings is set to start this Monday, 28th. So on Monday we'll have Amano and Crispin. Tuesday we'll have Priscilla and Jennifer. Wednesday we'll have Lord and Matthew. I'm no more calling their parliaments because I have already introduced them in my earlier presentation. On Thursday, the 3rd, we'll have Samara and Frank. On Friday, the 4th, we'll have Andrew and Suleiman, all from KNUST. Saturday, we'll have Noah and Prince. Sunday, 6th, we'll have Gabriel and Pascal. Monday, we'll have Raymond and Eliplin. Tuesday, we'll have Frank and Solomon. Then Wednesday, 9th, we'll have David and Otri, all from the same campus. Thursday, we'll have Janet and Rahama. Friday, 11th, we'll have Stephen and Eugene, all from the same school. Saturday, the 12th, we'll have Equia and Wendy. Sunday, we'll have 3 people, Teresa, Sueba, and Frederick. And then Monday, we'll have the youth parliament, Sudi Jones and Elijah. Briefly speaking, these are the announcements for the House. Any questions on the chamber briefings? Any questions on the chamber briefings? Hello?
No question from my end.
Okay, thank you. Honorable said, you haven't asked any question the time you join. Any question? Honorable, right, Honorable Viglo. Oh, okay. Okay. Or for the information or for the records, we have in mind to organize a physical meeting for the caucus for us to meet. But the problem we are having is that we are all scattered. Yes, we are all scattered all over the nation. And bringing you around, we really need our funds to be on point. We are thinking of your SRCs helping us by giving an allocation. Part of the allocation go to your travel and your accommodation, and part to go to the organizers to get the venue and any possible item 13. So we don't know how far that can go. The secretary is actually in charge of this consultation to see how far we can do this. And with the timetable, with this youth tax strike, it's making the whole thing difficult. So for now, we'll be using the virtual until we can have a physical. We are hoping that we make the best out of the virtual. If the physical will happen, it might only be once. But the virtual, anytime it is urgent, we'll have it. So any contribution on that?
Okay, right, Honorable. Thanks for the opportunity given to contribute towards the physical face-to-face lecture. I'm much interested in that one, and we've been thinking about it all this while because it brings some sense of unity and then it also strengthens the bond between us. So I think from my school, I don't even have much problem. All what I need is an official letter from your end, and then we proceed to the dean, then everything will be sorted out. But I don't know for other honorable members, right honorable members. And I'm sure if such program is coming off, as the university is being sponsoring the new CC and then the new congresses, USAC congresses, the same thing with the university be willing to also sponsor speakers to also go and get that knowledge into benefit their chamber. So I think the best thing is to get the letter intact and then after that we distribute whether soft copy, then we go and print it and we start punching our things for them to release funds for us to come for the program. For my end, I am ever ready to hear good news from you and executives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lord. I've picked something from your point, which is the letter writing. So I think immediately we are setting on the date and the location, the letter writing will commence to all member institutions of incumbent speakers so that you will assist us and then we'll assist you in the knowledge and come around. Accordingly, there are no more information and I would like to bring this meeting to a close. As a matter of fact, I would have loved us to move a motion, but since you are only two here, if only the Lord wants to move the motion a second, we'll do our way and then we'll close. However, I want to use this opportunity to thank all of you who have contributed and have joined this session. At least I'm happy that we have recorded so that the people who could not join will share the recording with them. And the important parts we'll cut it and share with them. Because knowledge is very expensive, and then I'm just happy we have recorded this session. So we'll share it with them. In the absence of any further deliberation, can the Right Honorable Lord Bar from Union Era move a motion and second himself for us to adjourn?
Okay, Right Honorable Speaker, in the absence of further contribution and submission, I, Ban Achamfor Lord Ebenezer, moves motion for the adjournment of today's sitting. And with the singular power given to me, I second this motion moved by Right Honorable Ban for the adjournment of the sitting. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the extraordinary moving of the motion and secondment. Honorable members, upon the extraordinary motion moved and seconded, I'd like to put the question to the House in the absence of Gabriel who just joined, that we are adjourning without him seconding. I put the question to the House that this meeting stand adjourned. All honorable members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor say nay. The ayes have it, the motion stands. Therefore, this House shall meet again whenever it is ready. This House hereby stands adjourned. Members, thank you very much and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.